It's always awkward starting to record a video again because I usually take so many different breaks. But I want to be at least a little bit more productive on my days off because I don't want my life to just be a 9 to 5. I want to do more things, content creation mostly, making videos of different things, doing these type of videos. And I've just been slacking. Like, so much has been just weighing on my mind. Like, I think, funnily enough, last week, it was like everything that was kind of holding me back was starting to unravel. And then it's just like, well, the week before last, I should say, there was at least a couple days where things were starting to feel better. And then, like, this last week has just been kind of just things continuously happening. But I'm trying to look at a more positive side of life, because I can be pretty pessimistic. Like, I juggle between pessimism and optimism not very often, but there could definitely be a long period of time where I'm more pessimistic than optimistic. And there's like a shred of me that's lately been becoming more optimistic because I'm trying to do things differently and experience different things in life differently. A lot of things that I deal with, I end up putting like a negative type of mood to it. Like, one thing that actually, well, let me eat before my food gets cold. I actually want to show, Banquet apparently does a thing now, or they've been had it, but it's like a little breakfast meal. I got the French toast one because at my job, we just got those. There's a French toast one, they have a pancake one, they have a waffle one. And yeah, I got, this is such a better way to do this. I got eggs and bacon cheese grits. The eggs a little watery. I ended up putting way too much milk in them, so I actually gonna try them first. Actually not bad. I did cook it a little bit longer, but anyway, like I was saying, oh, and I got yogurt and some water. But I was watching an Anna Akana video yesterday, and I'm gonna have to wipe the table. She did a video, 10 rules to live by. And one of them, if not the very first one, I don't really remember off the top of my head, it was the one that really stuck out, was reshape basically how you look at anxiety. I'm a person that deals with anxiety a lot. I wasn't always like that. Well, that's kind of a lie. I feel like I never really knew it was anxiety until I learned what anxiety was. It was saying reshape your anxiety to excitement. Because ultimately, anxiety and excitement are basically like two sides of the same coin. French toast ain't all that good. But I mean, I guess that's kind of what you expect for like a quick breakfast meal. But, she was saying basically like the feelings that you feel when you're anxious and everything, your heart's pumping faster and stuff like that. It's like kind of the same thing you feel when you get excited. And she was referencing a study, I want to say. I can't say psychologists did it, but I assume a study that people did where they would take people that were about to do a speech, like in front of a big crowd. You know, that's, if you're not a public speaker, that's like the most anxious thing you can do. Well, they were, you know, trying to get them to shape or to reshape their anxiety into excitement. Like, instead of thinking, oh man, I gotta do this speech and everything like that in front of all these people. You know, what about this, and this? But instead change it to, I'm doing a speech in front of all these people. And I mean, it's deeper than that. I'll probably try to link the video when I do upload this, but it made me think, because the mind is such a simple yet complicated thing. Because imagine, like, at least in my personal opinion, in my personal experience with anxiety, I think about, you know, all the things that I didn't do because I was anxious. Like, I didn't talk to this person because what if they don't like me? Or I didn't, you know, I didn't go buy this thing because I got bills and whatnot. I was thinking how quickly, like, all the thoughts that go through my head when I'm feeling anxious, how quickly I can shift that into excitement. Because it's so, like, meeting a person. On the anxious side, you have, oh man, you know, this person doesn't know me or anything like that, and what if things don't work out? But on the excitement side, I get to learn a new person. And my biggest thing right now, and it's kind of always been that way, is getting to know myself and understanding relationships with people. Because I was telling one of my coworkers, I'm like, no matter what, I'm going to work with people. Like, I don't necessarily know what exactly. I keep saying I don't know what exactly, but I think I have an idea of what exactly my career path or my goals, my future goals in life, like, what if I was to do a job for a significant amount of my life and make a career, what would I do? Even if I haven't exactly settled on it. I don't know why I paused like that, but even though I haven't settled on it directly just yet, I know that at the end of the day, I will work with people. As much as I don't like dealing with certain types of people and everything like that, that never really sours the experience of getting to know people. So instead of saying, oh, what if, you know, this, and this, because all my past experiences, it's like, you don't know what is going to happen. And that's exciting, because that what if things go wrong could easily be a what if things go right. And, you know, that's why that stood out to me so much, because it is so simple. Like, they tell you pretty much from the beginning, when you start, you know, going on your healing journey or trying to navigate life, it all starts in the mind. If you come out the gate thinking, well, my life sucks, everything is not going to work out for me, then if you put that in your brain, then typically that's what you'll get. And then that thought process also kind of depends on how you feel about spirituality, religion, and stuff like that, I feel like, because breaking it down to the simplest human understanding is the fact that if you think bad things are going to happen, I mean, it's life. Bad things are going to happen no matter what. But depending depending on your mindset of it is what really determines how bad it really is. Because there's plenty of scenarios I've had in my mind that I've made a whole lot worse just because my mind was already in that mindset of, well, this, I didn't think things could get any worse. And then this happens and it just feels like it keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. It's like, no. The simplest human experience we have is that things are going to happen. Like, even if you are on a remote island by yourself, something is going to happen to you in life. We all deal with things. It's just up to you to determine how you feel about those things. Like that heartbreak that you probably went through. Was it really as bad as you think it is? Like, looking back, I think that's another sign that I've been healing more, because of the fact that I can look back on relationships and think, yeah, it might not have worked out, but there were some good things. I still have that fear of building relationships with people because I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I feel as a person. Like, I've always felt off. I'm not like diagnosed with anything. Like even my depression, like I say I have depression because all the signs are there, but I'm not exactly diagnosed with anything. But I always felt like something was off. So it's like I'm basically trying to figure out how to be normal in my adulthood, just to kind of understand that nobody is really normal. Like, even adults older than me are different. Nobody really fits into a specific category. Everybody has their own nuances. So I'm kind of doing away with that notion of trying to be normal, but focusing more on trying to be me. And that comes with a lot of criticism, but a lot of understanding, because you can criticize yourself when you know things that you know now versus how you were back then. It's like, man, if I knew this back then, I wouldn't have did that, or I would have did that, or this and that, or I wouldn't have dealt with all the things and blah blah blah. And it's like, I have a bad habit of really getting into my own mind about the things that I do or have done. It's like, well, you kind of knew that you didn't want to do that back then, but you still did. And it's like, yeah, because there's a whole process in my mind about understanding that I have a choice. Like, this is another thing that stuck out to me. I'm always being told that I'm like a good listener. Like, people come up to me, they tell me different things. Like, a lot of my coworkers, they'll just come up to me, talk to me. A lot of times, even management, they'll just talk to me and vent about what's going on. And I was talking to one of the newer managers I have, and he was just, venting and everything like that. And I was just sitting there listening. He was like, man, Dale, you're such a good listener. He was telling other coworkers, like, man, love this kid. He's such a good listener and everything like that. And it was funny to me because, yeah, I'm a good listener. I can definitely listen to people. And, I can give responses that people want to hear, or I can engage in a conversation. But it's just funny to me because I'm thinking, like, am I really like a good conversationalist and a good listener, or have I never felt like I actually had a voice? So that's why I'm such a good listener, because I'm always used to listening and giving the responses that people want to hear. And it's like, well, dang, now you said a mouthful. Because ultimately, that's what it boils down to a lot of times. Right? I put up with some disrespectful people, some people that didn't really care too much about me. because I grew up not really feeling like I had too much of a voice. Like, even when I first, understood the fact that I had depression, and I talked about this in a video way back, maybe like 2017. Dang. But I was talking about it in a video because it made me mad. I made a post on Facebook because all my family's on Facebook. I made a post and I was like, hey, I realize I'm depressed. There's a lot of things that, awakened in me understanding that is like, okay, well, what do I need to do to not be depressed? How do I go about this? Still never went to therapy, but I feel like there's a lot of there's a lot of things that I've been able to navigate just by being alive and kind of comparing to different things I've seen and heard. And if I do go to therapy, I know it would be a lot more that'll unlock. But I do feel like at my core, I have a deep enough understanding of myself to really figure out like different things. And I obviously that continues more and more as I get older and experience more things. But I was saying like I want to, and it was because like if you haven't watched the video, if you're new here, it was because I had a situation with one of my friends, and me and her had got into it because she kind of, I felt like I was betrayed at the end of the day, and I let another coworker get in my head, and we got into an argument. And I felt bad. I was watching Spider-Verse, and Spider-Man is one of my favorite heroes. I don't remember what scene it was. I got to rewatch it again to pinpoint it because I want to do a video about it, like reanalyzing that movie and how it helped me, understand my depression. But it was one scene, but it was basically like the message of it was that anybody can put on the mask. And it was me thinking that funny to say, but it's like I kind of failed at my hero moment in a sense. Like, one of my favorite things about Spider-Man was the dilemmas he was put in. It wasn't just like superhero dilemmas, it was personal dilemmas. And it was like, I feel like he made a lot of things harder than he had to because of his sense of responsibility. I tend to do that myself, so that's why I relate. But I was thinking like, there was a moment where I could have been a better person and handled the situation better, and I didn't. And it changed my friend dynamic. I mean, ultimately, me and that person still aren't friends anyway, but it made me think about the fact that it's like, that didn't sit right with my spirit. Like J. Cole, you have moments where you do things and then you look back and it's like, man, I did not like the person that I was when I did that. And that's what made me think I'm depressed. It opened up a void that I had in myself. And it made me think, man, I cannot do something like that again. And I made a Facebook post about it, like, hey guys, I realized that I have depression and I want to work on it. And since I've come to know it, I have to come to understand it and accept it and deal with it like that. And I was doing pretty good. But it was the fact that so many people that, well, I would say so many, it was like two of my grandmas and my auntie, but the way they handled it just kind of showed me like, that made me think about why, black men don't open up about their emotions, because it's not taken seriously. Like one of my grandmas and my auntie, they were like, oh, they were basically telling my parents like, oh, you need to pray for him, and what are y'all doing, and blah blah blah. And I told my parents straight up, I was like, I'm not depressed because of y'all. I mean, granted, I do have other issues that come from from them, but it's not like I wasn't depressed in that moment because of them. Like, I was depressed because of a situation. And even my other grandma, we had a long phone conversation, and we were just talking. I'm thinking, she cares about me. She's trying to figure out, what's going on. And towards the end of the phone call, she basically summed it up to, oh, you just had a spat with a girl and now you feel like you're depressed. And I was like, that's not the situation at all. It happened to be a girl, but it was a gay girl, so it definitely wasn't the type of spat that you think it was. I was like, whatever. And then she ended it by saying, you can't post stuff like that anymore because your guidance counselor, who, mind you, follows me on Facebook as well, could have messaged me directly, was asking me about it. I was like, oh, so you don't care about me. You just care about whatever image came from me making a post like that. Because, it's like in those movies when the family tries to, like, preserve an image of themselves that they know isn't true. But when cracks start to show because of usually the black sheep of the family, I'm the only child of my parents, so I can't even say if I'm the black sheep or not. But once cracks of that come out, then you try to do everything to push that kid back down so they don't feel powerful enough to even say anything. So it keeps the image. And, that frustrated me even more because of the fact that why am I not allowed to voice my own feelings of dissatisfaction with myself? And how do you make it about my parents or my guidance counselor when I graduated at least 2 years prior to making this post? Like, it was never about me. And that's the biggest thing that I've struggled with most of my life, because I've had plenty of moments in my life where I felt like I was never really important, never really allowed to express myself, which is why even at 26, it is so difficult to even understand yourself. But I talked about this in a previous video too, where I sometimes I don't even feel like I deserve to live. Like, I constantly feel like I'm atoning for being alive, and it's so crazy because it makes me water myself down. I think about the women that I've dealt with in my life, and it's like, even when things seem to go good, there's still an aspect of myself that I'm not allowed to show. With my last girlfriend, I'd never forget the day I told her I loved her and she wanted to break up with me. And it's like, that makes me scared to be vulnerable. That and the girl I dealt with after her, like, just the vulnerability, because we were having adult, relations. And that added another aspect that made me uncomfortable with vulnerability, because it feels like it gets taken advantage of or not appreciated enough. And I understand it was just a bad pick. But even like the last person or second to last person that I've dealt with, things were so good. I said, like, after dealing with that, I was like, I want a nice girl, one that builds me up. And she was that. The moment that I said, hey, I might need some time for myself because I realized that I don't feel emotions, like, at all. Like, I felt numb. The more affection she would try to give me, the more numb I felt. It's like, yeah, I was a little bit selfish, we're making out, but I knew not to try and take it any further until I could figure out my emotions. I just wanted that space. And then the whole situation blew up. Now me and her don't talk. And then same with the last girl that I dealt with. We talked about our feelings and then boom, never saw her again. So it makes me more scared to be vulnerable or even open up. Because it's like I'm a multifaceted person, and it's mostly because of the fact that I've had to cater my personality to whatever situation I was in. You know, I had to be quiet a lot of times when I wanted to be loud. And when I was being loud, I was being too loud. So it's like trying to figure out that version of myself. And then dating, good Lord. Like, I don't even leave the house enough outside of going to work. So it's just, it makes it seem like things are more difficult. But that's the anxiety talking. Because there's a big part of me that's excited about having new experiences in dating and, you know, getting to understand myself more. And maybe finally, if I haven't already, meeting the love of my life. Those type of things excite me. Yeah, it scares me a little bit to open myself up and be myself, getting to know new people. But I want to start looking past that. And part of that comes with doing things that you don't usually do. Actually doing things that you want to do. I'm starting to get on dating apps, see how that goes. Trying to work on content creation because, like I said, I don't want my life to just be a 9 to 5. I want to have something that I actually like to do for myself. I want to get back into drawing. I want to just buy things and enjoy different aspects of life. And I did actually buy things from the TikTok shop. So I want to do like a review and a haul when those come in. I just bought some other stuff from Amazon. Like, most of my paycheck that I got Wednesday is about gone, but I feel more satisfied with what I decided to do. You know, I want to do a closet clean out, and I might record that just because closet clean out. It's not my closet. I want to do a clean out of clothes because I was talking to one of my coworkers and she plans on doing that. And I have so many things that I don't wear anyway. I might as well try to clear up space. So when I do have my own space again, then I can actually bring in things that I want to bring in. Because that was the one good thing about having moved out, is I got rid of a lot of different things I don't need being by myself. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that I want to do. And I think I want to continue this in another video because it's already reaching about 30 minutes and I don't really know how long my iPhone can record. So I'll cut this out and then start recording the second part. I'm out.